Welcome to Martha Family Secrets. We're here because you're selfish, ungrateful, and you're tearing this family apart. My mother said those words into a microphone. In her own living room. On my 30th birthday. 40 people sat in folding chairs staring at me. My father held 3 handwritten pages of everything I had supposedly done wrong since I was 8 years old. My sister had her phone mounted on a tripod, red dot blinking, streaming it all live. I didn't cry. I didn't stand up and leave. I sat there, waited for every single one of them to finish, and then I said 6 words that changed the entire night. Funny. I've been recording too. What happened in the next 11 minutes ended 6 relationships in that room. And my sister deleted her entire account before she even made it to the car. But before I take you there, please subscribe and like this video and listen to my story till the end and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. It genuinely means everything to me. My name is Grace. I'm 30 years old. I work as an nurse in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. And this is the story of how my family threw me a surprise intervention on my birthday, and how it became the worst night in the Holland family's history. Now let me take you back. 3 months before that night. To the phone call I was never supposed to hear. But first, let me paint the picture of what my life looked like, so you understand exactly how deep this goes. It's a Friday night. I've just come off a 14-hour shift in the emergency room. 2 car accidents, 1 cardiac arrest, and a 7-year-old who swallowed a quarter. My scrubs smell like iodine and old coffee. I'm sitting in my car in the hospital parking lot, engine off, head back, eyes closed. Just breathing. Just existing for a second before the world starts pulling at me again. Then I check my phone. 3 messages. Mom. Grace, the insurance bill came in. Can you cover it this month? Your dad got cut again. My older sister Claire. Hey, can I borrow $400? There's an online course I need for my brand. Dad. A photo of a roofing invoice. No words. Just the photo. I open my banking app and do the math I do every single month. Mortgage payment on my parents' house, $1,100. Mom's health insurance supplement, $340. Claire's car payment, $280. Groceries I drop off every Sunday morning, around $150. That's over $2,000 a month. Nearly half my take-home pay. Half. My apartment has 1 bedroom. My furniture is from a flat pack store. My fridge has 2 meal prep containers and a half-empty bottle of hot sauce. I drive a 2012 Civic with a cracked windshield and 130,000 miles on it. I haven't taken a single vacation since I graduated nursing school. 8 years. Not 1 trip. Not 1 weekend away. And here's the thing. I never once complained. Not once. I grew up watching my grandmother, Nana Rose, stretch every single dollar she had. She taught me that family takes care of family. So I took care of them. I just didn't understand yet the difference between taking care of someone and being taken from. I was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Sunday dinner at my parents' house. Every week, same routine. I show up at 4. I help Mom prep. I set the table, wash whatever's in the sink from the night before, sweep if it needs it. By the time everyone sits down, I've already been quietly working for an hour. This particular Sunday, Mom is glowing. She's telling Dad all about Claire's new social media page. She's building a life coaching brand, Michael. She already has 2,000 followers. Dad nods like Claire just got into Yale. I wait for a pause in the conversation. I got promoted last week, I say. Charge nurse. It's a leadership role. Mom reaches for the bread basket. That's nice, honey. Can you grab the salad from the fridge? Ha. That's nice, honey. Claire arrives 45 minutes late, carrying a bottle of wine. Not expensive, but the gesture earns her a hug from Mom at the door. I've been here since 4. Nobody hugged me. She sits down across from me, tosses her hair back, and I notice her earrings. Small pearls. Vintage setting. And I've seen that setting before. My whole chest does something strange. Those are beautiful, I say. They look like Nana roses. Claire shrugs. Aunt Sandra gave them to me. Said Nana didn't want them anymore. I glance at Mom. She's suddenly very interested in her mashed potatoes. Nana Rose wears those pearls every single time I visit her. Every time. She didn't give those away. But nobody at the table wants to talk about it, so I let it go. That's what I always did. I let things go. I let the favoritism go. I let the silence where gratitude should have been go. I was very, very good at letting things go. Until the night I couldn't. 3 months before my birthday. A Tuesday evening. I stopped by my parents' house to pick up a jacket I'd left the Sunday before. The back door is unlocked, it always is. I step inside. The kitchen light is on. I can hear voices around the corner. Mom and Claire. I almost call out. I almost say, "Hey, it's me." Then I hear my name. "We do it on her birthday," Mom says. "Everyone's already coming." We sit her down and we tell her the truth. She's selfish. She controls us with money. We're done walking on eggshells around her. My hand freezes on the doorframe. Claire laughs. "I'll film the whole thing. This is exactly the kind of content my page needs. Raw, real family stuff." Then a pause. "What if she stops paying?" Claire says. And Mom laughs. A short, confident laugh. The way you laugh at a child who threatens to run away from home. She won't. She's been paying for 8 years. She didn't stop when I forgot her college graduation. She didn't stop when your father called her career just bedpans and paperwork. She's not going to stop because of one evening. But what if she does? Then 40 people just watched us ask for help and she walked away. She proves everything we said. She's trapped either way. Good, Claire says. And if she makes a scene, even better. Shows everyone she can't handle the truth. I stand there for maybe 10 seconds. It feels like 10 years. My pulse is in my ears. My legs feel like they're not attached to the rest of me. I back out through the door without making a single sound. I get in my car. I sit in the driveway with both hands on the steering wheel, staring at the garage door. 20 minutes. I sit there for 20 minutes. Then I call my best friend Naomi. She's been my closest friend since college. She's also a civil rights attorney. I tell her everything. Word for word. She listens. Doesn't interrupt once. When I finish, she asks one question. Do you still have that voice recorder app on your phone? From the malpractice scare last year? I did. She'd recommended it when a patient's family had threatened to sue the hospital. Keep it, she says. And start using it. I didn't plan revenge that night. I planned survival. I just didn't know yet how much I'd need it. I want to stop here for a second. Because right now you're probably feeling exactly what I felt standing at that back door. And I want to ask you something. If you had heard that conversation, if you had heard the people you were sacrificing half your income for planning to publicly humiliate you on your own birthday, what would you have done? Would you have confronted them right then? Would you have walked away quietly? Or would you have done what I did? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And stay with me, because what comes next, what I recorded over the following weeks before my birthday, is something I was not prepared for. I started recording before I walked through my parents' door every Sunday. Simple as that. Open the app, press record, slide the phone into my pocket. Close it when I leave. No hidden camera, nothing dramatic. Just a small red bar pulsing quietly on my screen. The first week, nothing. Mom talked about a church bake sale. Dad watched football. Claire didn't even show up. The second week, I'm standing at the kitchen sink after dinner, rinsing plates, doing what I always do. And I hear Dad's voice from the garage. The door is cracked. He's on the phone. But his voice is different. Softer. Lighter. Like a man I've never actually met before.
Yeah.
Tuesday works. Diane's got her Bible study. I'll tell her I'm picking up parts. A woman's voice on the other end. Warm. Laughing. Familiar with him. She doesn't suspect anything, Dad says. 22 years and she still thinks I go bowling on Tuesdays. I grip the edge of the sink so hard my knuckles go white. A plate slips, clinks against the basin. I catch it. Dad doesn't hear. He's still laughing that warm, easy laugh. The one I've never once heard at the dinner table. I finish the dishes. I dry my hands. I walk out to my car, sit down, and look at my phone. The app is still running. The waveform's still moving. I wasn't looking for this. I was looking for protection. But a recorder doesn't filter. It catches everything. And apparently, everything in the Holland house was worth catching. Week 4. I arrive early. 20 minutes before dinner. The front door is locked, so I go around back. Mom's bedroom window is open a crack. Her voice drifts out. She's on the phone. Speaker on. I can hear both sides. Michael doesn't know about the $14,000, Mom says. I moved it to my personal account right after Mom's estate sale. He thinks the furniture sold for less than it did. And then another voice. Aunt Sandra. Smart. And the pearls? I already sold the bracelet. Got $800 for it. If Ruth asks, we just say it's at the jeweler being cleaned. Fine. Just don't let Grace find out. She's the only one who still visits Ruth every week. If Ruth mentions the bracelet, Grace will start asking questions. Grace won't find out. She's too busy paying our mortgage. And they both laugh.
Oh.
They both just laugh. I'm standing in the backyard next to the recycling bin. My phone is in my jacket pocket. The little red bar pulsing quietly. $14,000. That's 7 months of the mortgage I had been sending home every single month. The mortgage I thought was keeping a roof over their heads while they struggled. They weren't struggling. Mom had $14,000 tucked away in a private account, funded by my grandmother's estate, while I was eating meal prep out of plastic containers and driving a car with a cracked windshield. 2 secrets now living in my phone. And there were still 6 weeks until my birthday. 6 weeks of Sunday dinners. 6 weeks of smiling at the door. I could do that. I'd been doing it for years. The following Sunday, Derek, Claire's husband, doesn't come to dinner. He's picking up an extra shift. Electrical work at a new development outside town. He works hard. Always has. Claire used to brag about that when they first got married. Tonight, she's not bragging. 2 glasses of wine in, Claire leans toward Mom across the table. I'm at the other end, cutting my chicken. Invisible, as usual. Derek is useless, Claire says, keeping her voice low. But the dining room is small. Can't fix the sink. Can't get a promotion. I married a man who peaks at 35. Mom doesn't even flinch. You could have done better. I wish I never said yes, at that altar. Claire drains her glass. I keep thinking, if I hadn't gotten pregnant that first year, I would have walked. Mom pats her hand. You still have time. Dad's in the living room. Doesn't hear. Doesn't care. I say nothing. I eat my chicken. My phone sits in my lap, recording every word. 40 minutes later, we're clearing plates. Claire steps into the hallway. Phone to her ear. And then I hear her voice completely transform. Honey. Sweet. Warm. Miss you, babe. Save me some leftovers, okay? You're the best thing in my life. She hangs up, walks back in, and pours a third glass. I look at this woman, my sister, who just called her husband useless. Who wished she had never married him. Who 10 minutes later told him he was the best thing in her life. And I think about Derek, out there right now at a job site, running wire through walls because he wants to provide for the woman who despises him behind his back. Every single person in this family wears a mask. I was the only one who didn't. Not anymore. 2 weeks before my birthday, Naomi sends me a screenshot. It's a Facebook message from my mother to one of my coworkers. She had personally invited my direct supervisor Marcus, my colleague Carla from the and Dr. Pham, to what she called a special evening to show support for Grace. My hands are shaking. This is the first time in this entire process that my hands actually shake. She invited my boss to watch my family put me on trial. If Marcus sits in that living room and hears my mother call me selfish and ungrateful, if he watches my father read a 3-page list of my failures in front of 40 people, he will never see me the same way again. In a small hospital, reputation is everything. And my mother is about to set fire to mine. I call Naomi. My voice cracks once. Just once. Then I steady it. That's my career, Naomi. And Naomi says 5 words that change everything. Then we don't just survive. Stay with me. Because what comes next, what Naomi and I planned in her car with the rain on the windshield 10 days before my birthday, is the part where everything shifted. Naomi and I are sitting in her parked car outside a coffee shop. Engine off. Rain hitting the windshield. It's 10 days before my birthday and we're going over every single detail. Ground rules, she says, counting on her fingers. 1. You walk in like it's a normal party. You smile. You hug people. You don't signal anything. Okay. 2. When they start, you let them talk all the way through. Don't interrupt. Let them finish completely. Fine. 3. When they're done, you ask calmly, once, to speak privately. Can we discuss this just as a family? If they say yes, you talk privately. The recordings never come out. Nobody gets hurt. And if they say no? She looks at me steadily. Then that's rule 4. If they refuse, if they insist on doing this in front of 40 people who include your coworkers, then the recordings play. Their choice. Their stage. Your truth. I look down at my phone. 4 files in a folder I've labeled insurance. Not because I was being clever. Because that's exactly what they are. File 1. Dad and the woman named Linda. File 2. Mom and Aunt Sandra. The $14,000 and Nana's jewelry. File 3. Claire on Derek. File 4. Mom and Claire planning the intervention. I back them all up to cloud storage. Send copies to Naomi's email. One more thing, Naomi says, reaching into the back seat. She sets a small Bluetooth speaker on the console. Black, about the size of a soda can. Your phone speaker won't reach 40 people. This will. I pick it up. It's so light. It doesn't look like much. You don't have to yell, she says quietly. You just have to press play. The Saturday before my birthday, I make the 40-minute drive to Sunrise Manor, the assisted living facility where Nana Rose lives. Her room smells like lavender lotion and something like old library books. She's by the window in her wheelchair, working a crossword puzzle with a pen. Not pencil. A pen. That's Nana Rose. There's my Saturday girl, she says when I walk in. I pull up a chair. We do what we always do. She tells me stories about Grandpa Ernie. I bring butterscotch candies. We watch 15 minutes of a game show together even though it's a rerun. Then during a commercial she asks, very casually, big birthday tomorrow. Your mother planning something? She is. Good. She adjusts her reading glasses and looks at me over the frames. I hope she's being kind about it. I don't answer. Nana reaches over and takes my hand. Her skin is thin as paper, but her grip is firm. Your grandfather always said, the strong ones are quiet. I squeeze back. Then she asks, the way she asks about everything, like she already knows the answer but wants to see if you'll tell the truth. Jeanette was supposed to bring my pearl bracelet last month. Haven't seen it. I swallow hard. I know that bracelet was sold for $800. I heard my aunt say it while my mother laughed. I'm sure it'll turn up, Nana. She studies my face for a long moment. Doesn't push. When I leave, she sends me a text message. She just learned to use the phone I got her at Christmas. The message is full of typos. Whatever they do tonight, remember who raised you on Saturdays. I am proud of you always. I sit in my car and read it 3 times. That evening, Naomi comes over with takeout. We eat noodles on my couch and she walks me through the logistics one more time. Where will you sit? I ask. Back row, near the door. If anything goes sideways, I'm right there. She holds up the little speaker. I tested it in my office. Clear audio from across the room. I pick it up. Such a small thing. Tomorrow night, it might be the loudest thing in that room. If I don't use it, I say quietly, we go home, eat cake, and I spend my 30s in therapy. Naomi doesn't laugh. And if you do use it, then at least the right people are embarrassed for once. She pauses. Grace. Once you press play, you cannot unring that bell. Your dad's affair, your mom's money, Claire and Derek, all of it out in the open in front of 40 people. There is no version of tomorrow night where things go back to normal. Naomi. I look at her. Normal was never good. She nods slowly. We sit in silence for a minute. My apartment is so quiet. My phone on the table. 4 audio files lined up like 4 sealed envelopes, each one a door that only opens from one side. Try to sleep, she says on her way out. I don't. Not because I'm scared. Because I'm done rehearsing what I'll say when they finally stop talking. At 2 in the morning I'm sitting on my bed with the lights off, earbuds in, listening to the recordings one final time. Dad's voice, loose and careless. Mom and Aunt Sandra laughing about Nana's bracelet. Claire, wine brave and bitter. And then the last one. Mom, calm and organized, the way she sounds when she's planning a church bake sale. We tell her she's selfish. If she cries, even better. I pull out my earbuds. The street light outside throws a bar of orange across the ceiling. My family has built a courtroom in their living room. They've written the charges. Invited the witnesses. Rehearsed the testimony. Even hired a camera crew, my own sister, live streaming my trial to strangers. And they have absolutely no idea the defendant has more to say than anyone in that room wants to hear. I plug my phone in, set my alarm, and close my eyes. Tomorrow is my 30th birthday. I used to think it would feel like a milestone. A celebration. A beginning. Instead, it feels like a verdict. But here's what they don't know. The verdict isn't mine. It's theirs. I just want to pause here for one moment. Because the night before, I almost didn't go. I almost drove to Naomi's place and spent my birthday eating ice cream and pretending none of it existed. But one thing stopped me. If I don't show up, they tell the story without me. 40 people hear their version, and I become the villain who couldn't even face her own family. So let me ask you honestly. What would you have done? Would you have walked into that room, or stayed home? Tell me in the comments. And stay right here, because what happens when I walk through that front door is something I replay in my mind almost every single day. I pull into my parents' driveway at 6:15. Cars line the street in both directions. 11. 12. More than a birthday dinner. More than a surprise party. My phone is charged. The app is open. The speaker is already paired and sitting in my purse. I smooth my blouse. Check my reflection in the mirror. Take one breath. Walk through the front door. The living room has been completely rearranged. The sofa shoved against the wall. Coffee table gone. In its place, 4 rows of folding chairs, facing a single point at the front of the room where a microphone stands on a chrome tripod. Behind it, taped to the wall, a banner on white butcher paper. Blue marker. Block letters. We love you enough to tell the truth. No cake. No streamers. No presents. I scan the room. 40 faces. Some smiling nervously. Some avoiding my eyes entirely. I spot them one by one. Marcus in the second row, arms folded. Carla beside him, clutching her purse. Dr. Pham near the back, looking genuinely confused. Neighbors I've known since childhood. 2 of Mom's Bible study friends in matching cardigans. Cousins I see once a year. And in the far corner, Claire standing behind a tripod, phone mounted, red dot blinking. She's live. Naomi is in the last row by the door. Purse on her lap. Zipper open 2 inches. She gives me the smallest nod. I look at the microphone. At the banner. At 40 people who came to watch my family put me on trial. Then I look at the single empty chair in the front row, center, facing the crowd. My seat. I sit down. Mom steps up to the microphone. She's wearing her good blouse, the cream one she saves for church. Hand steady. She smiles at the room the way she smiles at potluck dinners. Warm. Practiced. Thank you all for coming. I know this isn't what Grace expected tonight, but as a family, we decided it was time to be honest. She unfolds a sheet of paper slowly. Grace, honey, we love you. But we can't keep pretending everything is fine. She tells the room I'm selfish. That I hold money over their heads like a weapon, that I decide when and how much I give like they're a charity case. She tells them I'm cold. That I never call my father on his birthday. She doesn't mention that Dad hasn't answered his phone on his birthday in 3 years because he's always out picking up parts. She tells them I'm tearing the family apart. That Sunday dinners have become tense because of my attitude. She looks at me with practiced tenderness. We're not doing this to hurt you, Grace. We're doing this because nobody else had the courage. The room is completely silent. I hear a folding chair creak. Someone coughs. Marcus uncrosses his arms and leans forward. He's watching everything. 2 of Mom's Bible study friends are nodding along. The woman in the green cardigan dabs her eyes. She's buying every single word. I sit perfectly still. Hands on my knees. Face neutral. The way I look when a patient's family is shouting at me in the because Mom isn't finished. And neither is Dad. Dad stands up. He reaches into his shirt pocket and pulls out 3 pages of lined paper. Covered in handwriting. I recognize it immediately. It's Mom's handwriting. She wrote the list. He's just the delivery man. He clears his throat. Grace, your mother and I made this together. It's a record of patterns. Things we've noticed. He starts reading. Grace, age 8, broke the kitchen window playing ball and lied about it. I didn't break that window. Claire threw a softball through it. I was in the backyard. I got blamed because Claire cried first. Grace, age 13, told her aunt she didn't want to go to church camp. Correct. Because church camp was in July and I had a summer reading program at the library. Grace, age 15, refused to let her sister borrow her car for prom. I was 15. I didn't have a car. Claire wanted Mom's car. Mom said no. I got blamed. Grace, age 22, moved out without asking permission. 22. Moved out. Without asking permission. He reads for 7 minutes. 7 minutes of childhood scraped off the bone and held up under a fluorescent light in front of 40 people. A few people shift in their seats. Carla has her hand over her mouth. Derek, Claire's husband, is staring at his shoes. Dad folds the pages. Looks up for the first time. We raised you better than this, Grace. He sits down. The room waits. I wait. I let 10 full seconds pass in silence. Let it settle. Let every person in that room feel the full weight of what just happened. Then I stand up. Mom. Dad. My voice is level. Steady. Calm. I hear you. I appreciate that you feel strongly about this. Can we talk about it privately? Just the 4 of us? Mom shakes her head before I even finish the sentence. No. This is exactly why we're doing it here. Because privately, you shut us down. These people are our witnesses. Witnesses. From the corner, Claire's voice. Just let them finish, Grace. This is good for you. She adjusts her phone on the tripod. The red dot blinks steadily. Still live. I look around the room one more time. Slowly. Marcus is typing something on his phone. The woman in the green cardigan is nodding. She thinks this is love. She thinks she's watching a family that cares enough to be honest. I look at Naomi. Her hand rests on the open purse. Inside, the speaker is waiting. I look at Derek. He's staring at Claire's tripod with an expression I recognize from the confusion tipping into dread. I take a breath. The same breath I take before I call time of death. Not because this is the end. Because it's the beginning of something that cannot be taken back. Okay, I say quietly. You've had your turn. I open my purse. Pull out my phone. Hold it up so the whole room can see it. Funny. I've been recording too. The room goes absolutely silent. And then I press play. The Bluetooth speaker comes alive from Naomi's purse. Clear and loud, every syllable razor sharp. Dad's voice fills the room.
Yeah.
Tuesday works. Diane's got her Bible study. I'll tell her I'm picking up parts. Mom stands alone at the front of the room. The microphone still on its stand like a monument to something that just died. No one is near her. No one. I lower my phone. That's the last one. Quiet. No triumph. No edge. Just fact. Now you all know exactly who's selfish in this family. I pause. It isn't me. I look at Naomi. Ready? She stands, loops her purse over her shoulder, and walks toward me. I turn to the room one final time. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry it wasn't the party you expected. Then I walk to the door. My mother's intervention is over. Mine just began. I want to stop here because when I played those recordings, my hands were steady. My stomach wasn't. Because I knew the moment I pressed play there was absolutely no going back. Nobody in that room would ever look at each other the same way again. Including me. Do you think I went too far? Or do you think I should have played them the moment Mom picked up that microphone? Tell me honestly in the comments. And stay with me for part 5. Because what happened on my way out the door, and what the following months looked like, is the part that actually changed my life. I am 3 steps from the door when Marcus stands up. In 6 years of working under this man, I have seen Marcus stand up for patient rights, for staffing ratios, for union votes. He is not a dramatic person. He speaks the way people speak when they understand that authority doesn't need volume. Grace. I stop. He buttons his jacket. Takes 1 step into the aisle. I've worked with you for 6 years. I've seen you hold a dying man's hand at 3 in the morning and chart his vitals at 3:15 without missing a beat. I know exactly who you are. He pauses. Tonight doesn't change anything at my hospital. Except maybe my respect for you just went up. He says it at normal volume. But in that room, at that moment, it lands like a verdict. Carla stands next. She grabs her coat. I'm driving you home. You shouldn't be alone tonight. Something shifts inside my chest. Not relief exactly. But the closest thing to it. Like setting down a bag I didn't realize I had been carrying the entire time. I pass Mom on the way out. She grabs my sleeve. Her fingers are trembling. Grace. Please. I stop. I look at her hand on my arm. Then at her face. Mom, you had a microphone. I had a phone. I gently pull my sleeve free. The difference is mine told the truth. I walk out the front door. I don't slam it. I close it the same way Derek did. Gently, with a click. On the porch I check my phone. A text from Nana Rose, sent 2 hours ago. She goes to bed early. Happy birthday, my girl. You are the best of us. I press the phone against my chest and stand in the cool Ohio air until Carla pulls the car around. Carla drives. Naomi sits in the back. Nobody speaks for the first 2 minutes. The only sound is tires on wet road and the low hum of the heater. Then Naomi says, "You okay?" I think about it. Not the polite version. The real one. I don't know yet. She nods. That's enough. We're on the highway when I open my phone and read Nana Rose's text out loud. The whole thing. Typos and all. Whatever they do tonight, remember who raised you on Saturdays. I am proud of you always. Carla's hands tighten on the wheel. Naomi makes a sound from the back seat. Not crying. But close. Your Nana, Carla says quietly, sounds like the kind of woman I'd want in my corner for anything. I laugh. It comes out cracked and wet and completely unexpected. She really does. We pull into my apartment complex. Same parking lot, same cracked asphalt. But something about it looks different. Cleaner maybe. Or just mine. I unlock my door. Drop my purse on the counter. 36 unread messages on my phone. I don't open a single one. I open my banking app instead. 3 recurring transfers. Mortgage. $1,100. Cancel. Confirm. Insurance supplement. $340. Cancel. Confirm. Car payment. $280. Cancel. Confirm. Done. I sit on the edge of my bed in the dark and I listen to nothing. No calls to return. No bills to pay for someone else. No Sunday dinner to show up for. For the first time in 8 years, my paycheck is entirely mine. It's quiet. It's small. It's everything. The day after, Dad moves out. Not dramatically. No scene. He packs a bag and drives to a friend's place. Mom comes home from the grocery store and finds his side of the closet half empty. She calls me 14 times that day. I don't pick up. Not to punish her. Because I have nothing left to say. Day 3. Claire calls, sobbing so hard I can barely make out words. Derek filed for separation. He won't talk to me. He changed the locks. I'm sorry to hear that, Claire. You ruined my marriage. I close my eyes. You ruined your marriage in that kitchen 6 weeks ago. I just pressed play. She hangs up. Day 5. A cousin I haven't spoken to in years calls to tell me he reached out to Nana Rose to ask about her bracelet. She told him she'd been told it was at the jeweler for cleaning. 4 months ago. He confronted Aunt Sandra directly. Sandra admitted she sold it. He told the rest of the family. Sandra's phone has been silent ever since. Nana Rose called me that evening. I want to hear everything from you, she said. Not from them. From you. Day 7. Mom posts a long, emotional message on social media. Our family is going through a difficult season. We ask for your prayers and your grace. Nobody liked it. Nobody commented. Her 2 Bible study friends had already unfriended her. 1 week. That's all it took. Not for things to fall apart, they'd been falling apart for years. 1 week for the glue to finally dissolve. And the glue was me. It was always me. A month later I sit down with my banking app and a cup of coffee and do the math I should have done years ago. That $2,100 a month I was sending home. Here's where it goes now. Student loans paid off in 6 weeks. Gone. Retirement account opened for the very first time. I'm 30 years old and I'd never put a single dollar toward my own future. I set up an auto deposit. $200 a month to start. It's not much. It's mine. I book a 2-day visit to see Nana Rose. A proper visit. A hotel nearby so I can spend the mornings with her without rushing. At the hospital, nobody brings up that night. Not once. Marcus greets me the same way he always does. Brief nod, straight to business. But he assigns me to the new trauma protocol committee. Extra responsibility. Trust. I'll take it. Carla and I start having lunch every Wednesday. We never had before. She tells me about her daughter's football matches. I tell her about Nana Rose's crossword addiction. Normal things. Easy things. One Saturday morning I walk into a hardware store and buy a small plant. $5. I set it on my kitchen counter, in the exact spot where my phone used to sit while I calculated how much I owed everyone else. Naomi texts me that evening. How does freedom taste? I take a photo of the plant and send it back. Like a $5 plant from the hardware store. She sends back a row of laughing faces. I smile at my phone in my empty apartment. And it doesn't feel empty at all. 6 weeks later, I walk out of the hospital after a double shift. Feet sore. Scrub smelling like antiseptic. Thinking about leftover pasta and my couch. I see her. Mom is standing by my car. Arms folded. No coat. It's 40 degrees outside. Grace. Mom. I'm your mother. You can't just cut me off. I unlock my car, set my bag on the passenger seat. I didn't cut you off. I cut off the money. Those are 2 very different things. We need to talk. Then talk. She straightens. Lifts her chin. I did what I thought was right. That intervention came from love, Grace. Even if you can't see it. I lean against my car. I am so tired. Not the kind that sleep fixes. Mom. You wrote Dad's script. You invited my boss. You told Claire to live stream it. You planned it for my birthday specifically so I couldn't say no without looking ungrateful. I pause. That's not love. That's a production. Her jaw tightens. So what do you want from me? An apology. A real one. Not a social media post. I'm not going to apologize for caring about my daughter. Then we're done here for now. I open my car door. She doesn't move. Mom. I look at her steadily. I love you. But I won't let you treat me like an ATM and then call me selfish for having a limit. When you're ready to really talk, you have my number. I get in. Start the engine. Pull out of the lot. In the rearview mirror, she's standing where I left her. Getting smaller. I cry on the drive home. First time since that night. Not from regret. From loss. Because loving someone and accepting their cruelty are two entirely different things. I chose love. I just stopped accepting the rest. Tell me in the comments. And if you've dealt with something similar, share your story. You're not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. So here is where everyone landed. Dad and Mom separated officially. Dad's in a one-bedroom apartment across town. He called the woman from the recording after everything fell apart. She didn't pick up. Turns out she has a husband, 2 kids, and a mortgage. Dad was her Tuesday distraction. Nothing more. He lost his wife and his fantasy in the same single night. Claire and Derek finalized their divorce 3 months later. Derek kept the house. His name, his payments, his credit. Claire moved back in with Mom. 2 women in a house with nothing left to say to each other. She deleted her page permanently. All the raw, real family content, gone forever. Aunt Sandra couldn't avoid the bracelet situation. Nana Rose called her directly. I was there, sitting in Nana's room, when it happened. Nana told her quietly and clearly, I want the money or I want the bracelet. Pick one. Sandra has neither. She spent the $800. Most of the family barely speaks to her now. Mom still texts sometimes. Not every week. Sometimes I respond. Sometimes I don't. There's no schedule, no obligation, no autopay. And me. I'm 31 now. I still work at the hospital. I still drive the same Civic, but I finally got the windshield fixed. I still visit Nana Rose every single Saturday. I still eat meal prep, but the containers are glass now instead of plastic. Small upgrade. Mine. I didn't destroy my family. The truth did. I just gave it a microphone. And maybe that sounds cold. But here's what I've come to understand. The truth doesn't destroy strong things. It only ever destroys the things that were already being held together by lies. If you're listening to this and something felt familiar, if you're the one paying bills for people who call you ungrateful, or showing up early to set the table while someone else arrives late with a bottle of wine and gets the hug, I want you to hear this. You are not selfish for having a limit. You are not ungrateful for expecting basic respect. And you are not tearing your family apart by refusing to hold it together at your own expense. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors. You decide who walks through. When. And under what terms. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Nana Rose sent me a text the night of my 30th birthday. I've read it probably 200 times since then. Whatever they do tonight, remember who raised you on Saturdays. I am proud of you always. She raised me on Saturdays because my parents were too busy, too distracted, too focused on everything that wasn't me. She taught me to do crosswords in pen. She taught me that strength doesn't have to be loud. She taught me that loving someone doesn't mean you let them take everything from you and then blame you for having nothing left. I used to think standing up for yourself meant shouting, slamming doors, making a scene. It doesn't. Sometimes it means sitting quietly in a folding chair while 40 people stare at you, waiting calmly, patiently, for your turn to speak. And when your turn comes, you don't yell. You just press play. Last week was my 31st birthday. Naomi came over. Carla brought her daughter. 2 friends from the hospital, 1 neighbor who always says hello in the hallway and finally got a proper invitation. 6 people. My apartment. A cake from the bakery on the corner. Lemon with cream cheese frosting, because that's what Nana Rose always ordered for my birthdays when I was little. The candles were crooked. Nobody fixed them. Nobody read a list of my faults. Nobody set up a microphone. Nobody aimed a camera at my face. Nana Rose called on video chat. She sang happy birthday off-key and off-rhythm, and everyone in the room sang right along with her, and it was the most beautiful mess I have ever heard in my life. I blew out the candles. Naomi cheered. Carla's daughter asked for the corner piece with the extra frosting. I said yes. 1 year ago, 40 people sat in my parents' living room to tell me exactly who I was. This year, 6 people sat in mine. And nobody needed to say a single thing. Because they already knew. I washed the dishes after everyone left. Stood at the sink, warm water, quiet apartment. My little plant on the counter. The same counter where I used to calculate transfers. My name is Grace Holland. I'm 31 years old. I'm an nurse in a small town in Ohio. I pay my own rent, my own bills, my own way. And for the first time in a very long time, I genuinely like the woman blowing out those candles. The best birthday gift I ever gave myself was the truth. The second best was silence. And the third, the one I'm still unwrapping every single day, is the sound of my own life. Finally. With nobody else's noise in it. If you made it all the way here, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This story wasn't easy to tell, and I know it wasn't easy to hear. But if you've ever had to set a boundary with someone you love, if you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping yourself, you are not alone. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me the hardest boundary you've ever had to set. I read every single comment. And if you want to hear another story, there's one linked below. I'll see you in the next one.